What is going on, everybody? It's the Frost, and we're here for a Smackdown live review for last night's episode of Smackdown on Fox. A little bit here, I'm a little under the weather, so I'm going to struggle to get through this as best I can, but I am here to do what I love to do, and that is talk about Raw, Smackdown, NXT, AEW, whatever. Last night's show was a mix of terrible looking, some segments, really good segment, excellent tag team match, and then Roman Reigns doing what Roman Reigns does and beating the hell out of everybody. So that was just SmackDown for you. This show started off. We were at the Pfizer Forum in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, the new home of the Milwaukee Bucks. This is the go home edition of SmackDown. We will also be going over TLC predictions after we're done with SmackDown, so I need to go grab the TLC things. So yes, we have 7 matches for TLC and we have a SmackDown to go. So let's talk about SmackDown. And we have no intro, none of that stuff. We go right to the ring and it's Baron Corbin. Greg Hamilton does the introduction. Corbin is carried on by his royal caravan. We see security surrounding the ring. Dolph Ziggler's the ring, still wearing the SmackDown cap that he started wearing during Survivor Series build, which Survivor Series was last month. We're going towards TLC, man. Get with the program. You don't have to wear this hat anymore. He takes the mic. He thanks everyone for the warm welcome because, yes, I want to start my SmackDown. I'm a little under the weather, and I was just this morning. I woke up. I sat down to want to start doing stuff, and it just hit me. But it's probably because I had to listen to this Baron Corbin promo live. This shit was disgusting. He's just terrible. He thanks everyone for the warm welcome, and they boo some more. Corbin and Ziggler start joking about the smell that's making them sick. I mean, your promos alone, Baron, make us sick. They're not sure if it's the fans or all the dog food they dumped and smeared on Roman last week. Corbin wants to make this quick, but he just wanted to come out and talk about the incredible 2019 he's had. First by defeating Kurt Angle in his final match at WrestleMania 35, winning the Royal Rumble, and now I'm going to go make the big dog bow down to me bow down to his king at TLC. After I put Roman in his place, SmackDown will have here's the rule as the leader. Corbin says he's seeing the nonsense about Reigns coming unchained on SmackDown last night. Corbin and Ziggler go on talking trash about Reigns. Corbin says he is here. He has every window and door in the arena covered if Reigns decides to show up, and he will just be showing up for a far worse fate than last week. You get a huge "you look stupid" chant from the crowds. Corbin and Ziggler go on the security guards. The ring says anyone who gets in the way of he and Ziggler will be forced to bow down. Ziggler calls for the fans to join him and all hail the king. During this promo, Baron Corbin had to say the following: "It is going to be the dawn of a new day." And as soon as he said the dawn of a new day, I knew exactly what was going to happen. And lo and behold, the tag team champions, the New Day, come out. Biggie and Kofi start cracking jokes on Ziggler and Corbin. Corbin pokes fun at Kofi for quickly losing the WWE title to Brock Lesnar. And Kofi corrects it. It was 8 seconds, not 7, but still sees himself. I see myself as a fan of the champion of the people. Which, no, Kofi, you're not The Rock, so you can't sit there and call yourself the people's champ. So try again, sir. Try again another time. He says Corbin did have a heck of a 2019, but he won the WWE title at WrestleMania, and for nearly 6 months, 180 days, defended that title and beat everyone who stepped up, including your boy Ziggler. Back and forth gets heated. Ziggler taps Corbin slaps him in the mouth, and says the fans chant one more time. He did say what you did to Roman last week was very disrespectful, and I wasn't happy. Like, nobody should be proud of that. And then Corbin just turns away and starts talking to Ziggler. It's like, this guy's still talking? Like, seriously, did you hear this guy? And that's when he turns back into a slap to the face. Corbin says if Kofi wants to step up and be a leader like Reigns, then he will get humiliated like Reigns. Corbin shoves the mic into Kofi and makes his exit to his music. And that was that. So the main event of the show was Baron Corbin and Kofi Kingston. Who wants to see Baron Corbin versus Kofi Kingston in the main event? I thought not. I mean, come the fuck on. We're tired of Baron Corbin. I just want this entire thing to be over with. Enough of it. Nobody cares about Baron Corbin. Nobody wants to see Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin. It would not surprise me if that's the main event of the pay-per-view on Sunday. But I don't want to see this anymore. This needs to end. Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville are in the ring for a take on Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss. They're waiting in the ring. We go backstage to the gorilla position, and Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss are being interviewed when all of a sudden Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville come storming in and beat the hell out of them, taking them out to the out front to the stage area, and they have a fight. They finally get into the ring, and we have ourselves a nice 2-3 minute match here. The double team Cross, but they go for a double suplex. Rose and Deville do. Bliss pulls Rose out of the ring by her leg. Cross ends up hitting the Purge on Deville with a 1-2-3, and Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss are your winners. They celebrate. Deville and Rose recover on the outside, and the winners hug and celebrate in the ring. I'm gonna say this and just be one of the few people who do, but I think this is the best position for an Alexa Bliss. She doesn't have to be relied on to do an entire match herself, which is good, and we don't have to see her. I'm just saying that I'm enjoying babyface Alexa Bliss a little bit better than her heel persona. I'm just saying. Sami Zayn is walking backstage when he comes up to heavy machinery and Santa Claus hats. They mention facing Cesaro and Nakamura later on in the night, but Otis picks Sami in the Secret Santa game, which apparently Secret Santa was a thing because this is not the only time you'll hear about it during last night. He had this big, huge thing, and you already knew it was going to be some kind of meat. He opens the gift, and it's a huge Christmas ham. Sami says it's the worst gift he's ever received. He's a vegan, and this is an insult. He goes on about how this animal lost its life, and Otis just looks so distraught. It's like so heartbroken that he didn't know. He said he didn't know. He didn't know that Sami was a vegan, so he's sorry. Sami doesn't buy it. He doesn't think it's good enough. Calls Otis a oof, and he's not happy and he's backing off. He's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make you angry or anything. And then Nakamura and Cesaro show up, so that ended up being. They just walk away. Cesaro sees the ham, he grabs it, and then just throws it down. And I don't care what Sami Zayn said earlier. That's some pretty good fucking ham that you wasted, Cesaro. Come on. Then we get Chad Gable and Mustafa Ali versus the Revival. If you're going to have this guy with this disrespectful name, here's a good name. Here's a good tag team name for you. Ali and the G. There you go. So this was a pretty damn good match between these two teams. So Ali and Gable, if this is going to be a long-term thing, which who knows, it's just WWE throwing two men together because they had nothing to do with them. And it's really crazy that at the beginning of this year, it looked like Mustafa Ali was going to be your next WWE champion until that injury happened, which propelled us to get Kofi Kingston to be your next WWE champion. So you see Mustafa Ali in the tag team ranks with a Chad Gable. It sucks for the fact that we have to sit there and see that this guy could be doing a lot more than he was, but it's better than him to do something than to do nothing at all. So I will say that I'm not too mad about it. The fact that this dude is in a tag team with Chad Gable, I hope that these guys get some time. But again, this was awesome. Of course, these two were the final two teams in that tag team elimination last week, which apparently was not supposed to happen. The original plans for Kofi Kingston and Big E was to have Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler take these two on. But of course, Robert Roode had to go and get himself suspended, so we got that fatal four-way elimination last week, and then this week we got a rematch between these two teams. I hope we don't see this again next week because it's just something with WWE. They see something that they enjoy, like when we had Andrade, and I think it was Rusev or somebody else versus AJ Styles, I believe, and Rey Mysterio, or Mustafa Ali, whoever it was. You had Andrade and Rey Mysterio in tag team action with two other opponents. Maybe it was Daniel Bryan and Ali. I can't remember. But they go out there, they have a hell of a match, and then Vince McMahon says, "Well, those two guys, Rey Mysterio and Andrade, worked well together. Let's have them wrestle 4 times in a row." It felt like. I'm hoping we don't see the Revival versus Ali and Gable again and again and again. They'll go out there and give you killer matches, but I don't want to see it all the time. It takes away the specialness. So hopefully this is the last time we see this match for a while. But so again, this match was awesome. Ali and Gable work really well together. Chaos Theory's here. You had 450. There was a cool sequence where you had the Chaos Theory by Chad Gable onto Scott Dawson. I believe it was Dawson. Dash Wilder comes in with a splash. Then Mustafa Ali comes in with a 450, and all 4 men are down. It was an awesome spot. Definitely something you gotta check out. But in the end, this was a great finish. Ali tags in, but Dawson blocks the tornado DDT out the corner. Dash tags in, runs into Ali's elbow on the corner. Ali goes up top, comes off with the top rope, but the Revival catch him into a shatter machine, and Dawson immediately turns him over into the pin for 1, 2, 3, and the Revival pick up the win. There was no way the Revival were not going to win this match with the fact that they faced the New Day on Sunday. So you're not going to have the New Day's opponent getting beat 2 days before we get to that match. Kayla Braxton is backstage with SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley, asking about Lacey Evans recently calling her out. Bayley understands why some people see Evans as being impressive because she's a Marine, she's a mom, yada yada. But I don't care, says Bayley. What people think any longer. I'm doing this for me. This title speaks for itself. He mentioned Sasha Banks being off recording a rap album. News to everybody. Hopefully that goes well. Bayley goes on about Evans being here, but we hear the sounds of Elias' guitar in the background. Bayley, clearly not happy about this, goes over and yells at Elias, who's with Dana Brooke, she's being a nice big groupie, even though I guess she's on a date with Batista at least soon. Elias reveals he picked Bayley. He picked Bayley in the Secret Santa game this year, and he sings her a song, tucking shots at her and Banks, which he did mention in the thing that it's the Santa offered him a threesome with Bayley, Sasha, and himself, and he had to turn that down. And he didn't want to be rude, he didn't want to be crude, but since she got that haircut, she looks like a dude. Wishes her a Merry Christmas. Bayley tells Brooks, who's like, "You think that's funny? You think it's funny? Well, how about you meet me in the ring?" Dana says challenge accepted, walks off, and we go to break, which Bayley, of course, was not happy with that song whatsoever. Alexa Bliss is going to be on the next episode of WWE Backstage, so if you're a fan of Alexa Bliss, go check that out. And then we have the match between Dana Brooke and Bayley. Dana Brooke did show off that she can actually do something without botching. There was a spot in this match where Dana goes for a sunset flip powerbomb and nails it, holding it for a 2 count. Dana goes right for another one, close 2 count. And another, Bayley tries to retreat for a breather, holding onto the bottom rope. The referee backs Brooke off, but Bayley suckers in and takes the knee out. Bayley goes and drops Brooke with whatever the hell that finisher is, whatever that finisher she uses called. 1, 2, 3, she beats Dana Brooke. Now, she hit a power bomb like you would see Batista hit. So, you know, she's trying to pay homage to somebody she like is going on a date with or something. So there was that. But yes, of course Bayley's gonna win. Which, by the way, Bayley doesn't have a match at TLC. So what is going on with that? Gold leads us to another video of Miz and Bray Wyatt still to come. Renee Young still will interview Miz at his home in Los Angeles. Back from break, and we see another return teaser vignette for Sheamus. The Celtic Warrior says SmackDown has changed in his absence, becoming nothing more than a home for wimps who, after previously being a home to Warriors. But not anymore, because Sheamus has returned, and he's bringing the Hurt back to SmackDown, a Hurt that is hungry, fired up, and ready to smash anyone who gets in his way. Does anyone really care if Sheamus comes back and does anything? Quite honestly, it would be great to see Sheamus back, but does anyone really expect Sheamus to do anything special on SmackDown? I don't. So, what's the point? I mean, I would rather see the bar be a thing still. Especially, I'd love to see the bar versus heavy machinery. That would be a hell of a match. But since we know we're not doing that, we have Cesaro wearing pants now, teaming with Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't know. Then we go into a sit-down interview with The Miz at his home in Los Angeles. It said the interview was filmed earlier in the day. Renee asked if Miz has an update on Daniel Bryan's status, but he said the last time he saw Bryan, he was being pulled under the ring by Universal Champion, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Renee brings out the bad history between Miz and Daniel Bryan and shows us a clip from the infamous Talking Smack segment, the best segment of that entire talk show when it was alive and well. That was honestly one of the greatest moments in the last 10 or so years. Renee asked Miz, why change a heart? He said he wished he had the perfect answer, but they both bring the best and worst out of each other and knows how much Daniel Bryan means to SmackDown. And as weird as it is, it says it's finally time for Miz to do the right thing. Renee Young asks about Wyatt and what happened last week. Miz says Wyatt loves to play mind games. And Miz, of course, has done that his entire career. But there's a line you don't cross, and Wyatt crossed that line. We get a look at the Ultimate Planner photo of Miz, and Miz says he had to accept the match at TLC and says he's changed man these days. He has I'm a father, and there's something that happens when you first hold your daughter in your hands. I'm the father. I'm two daughters now, and that's why I'm here in LA and not in Milwaukee for SmackDown. My family is the most important thing to me, and it's not sure what Wyatt is capable of. When they asked Miz if he's afraid of Sunday's match at TLC, we suddenly hear Marie yelling for Miz. She has the baby monitor on an iPad with the camera on Maroon Sky's crib. And when you see the crib, you see all of the puppets from the Firefly Funhouse. You see Abby the Witch, you see Ramblin' Rabbit, you see Mercy the Buzzard, and they're just playing around with one Monroe Sky. They head up to the room, but Wyatt isn't there. None of the puppets are there, but there is this doll in the crib with a face painted to look like the Fiend. And Monroe looks scared as can be. I don't know if they deliberately freaked this little kid out or something, but she definitely looked like she was scared of whatever the hell was in her room. Miz just tells us Kramer few we're done here, and they say get the hell out of there, and we cut to the announcers. Absolutely fantastic segment. The announcers go to talk for a second, but the Firefly Funhouse comes up again. Wyatt has the same doll and says he was just trying to be nice. After all, it's the holiday season. Wyatt knows how much the Miz loves his family, which is what makes this hard. Wyatt learned a while ago that no one likes snitches, and snitches get stitches. Says Miz was so wrapped up in what happened to Bryan that he exposed himself. He thinks Bryan is still with him. But Miz is with Wyatt. Wyatt goes on and says he can teach Miz how to not love. He says he has to let him in. He says the main fire was fire! And says he'll see you at TLC and waves goodbye. And that was that. Absolutely awesome. If you were to star rate segments on a show, or ups and downs these shows and anything, hits or misses, as I did on Wednesday, this would be a massive hit. This was awesome. This also shows that the Fiend doesn't have to be used all the time. This entire feud with The Miz has been over Wyatt's crazy obsession with Miz's family. The Fiend has been nowhere to be seen, and I honestly think this is fantastic. Heavy Machinery versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Cesaro. This was another good match. Otis Dozovich is the most over guy on SmackDown. This guy was out on the apron as Tucker was in the ring, and the crowd was chanting, "We want Otis," so loud that I think it just if they were half full with the crowd, which I don't know if they were or not, it sounded like the entire, they were to max capacity, fans chanting, "We want Otis." Soon as this guy tagged in, the crowd went ballistic. He's running all over the place. We get the Caterpillar, which is over as can be. But in the end, Nakamura goes for the Kinshasa. Otis blocks it. They go for the compactor, but Cesaro stops it. Tucker rocks Cesaro. Otis sends Nakamura to the floor. Otis drops Cesaro and hits a Caterpillar for a big pop. Sammy gets up on the apron to stop the Caterpillar, but Otis gets sent to the floor. Tucker sends Cesaro to the floor. Nakamura takes advantage and drops Tucker with the Kinshasa for the 1, 2, 3. Cesaro and Nakamura are your winners. So again, fun match there. Otis again is so over. I don't know what it is about Otis, but he just gravitates to the fans, and dude is like one of the most over guys in the company. Now, that doesn't mean I don't want to see them break up Heavy Machinery and try and go solo with Otis, because I don't think Otis would last as a solo act. It's Heavy Machinery, blue collar solid, stakes and weights. You got to keep them together. I don't want this to be one of those things that they go, well, Otis is way over, what Tucker probably isn't as over, so let's break these two up. No. These guys need to stay together. But these two, if the Revival win on Sunday, need to be in a tag team title opportunity and win the tag team titles. Otis is not over, and Tucker is not too far behind him. Kofi Kingston versus Baron Corbin. As soon as Dolph Ziggler walked out there with Baron Corbin, wearing tape on his fist and wearing his wrestling tights, because he wasn't in wrestling gear when we started the show. He was in a shirt, jacket, and jeans. He was not dressed to wrestle, but by the time we get to this match, he's dressed to wrestle. By the way, during the show, a couple times, they went back to like Corbin's locker room. Everybody was laid out. His caravan was destroyed. Obviously, Roman Reigns was around. But this match went exactly how I thought it was going to. You guys have yourself a match here. They go to commercial break. They come back. They have another 2, 3, 4 minute match. Both teams start to brawl. We get a disqualification. Big E grabs the mic and says, we're gonna have ourselves a match right now. Corbin accepts, and then we get the New Day versus Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler, which we come back from break and it lasts about 2 minutes until Ziggler pulls out shackles and handcuffs. The referee calls for the bell, and they start beating the hell out of Kofi Kingston as they handcuff him. So basically, you get yourself a repeat of what you saw last week, but the Revival were added to take out Big E. And then eventually, Roman Reigns comes to ringside, beats the hell out of everybody, and ends up putting Dolph Ziggler through the announce table off of a ladder, as Dolph Ziggler was going to go up a ladder to elbow drop Roman Reigns through it, but that didn't happen. And then eventually he goes over and helps Kofi Kingston down. But that was the end of SmackDown, and it wasn't anything special. It was typical end of SmackDown. Chad Gable and Mustafa Ali versus the Revival was excellent. The 2 tag team matches on this night for the men weren't too bad at all. They were fun. They were excellent. The rest of the show, you missed it. You didn't miss anything. That was TLC. That was what was going to be for TLC. Not the preview. That was the go home show, the TLC. And then we come over and we're going to talk about TLC. TLC, of course, is going to happen this Sunday. And as I said earlier, we have 7 matches here. The Viking Raiders will have a tag team open challenge, and I'm going to say it'll probably be the B team, or I would like it to be AOP, but I don't know if you want to really waste AOP versus the Viking Raiders in a throwaway match. So whoever accepts the Viking Raiders is probably going to get beat. So I'm picking the Viking Raiders on that one. Rusev versus Bobby Lashley tables match. This one I'm going to say is going to Rusev. Let this be the end of this goddamn feud. I don't want to see this anymore. Asuka and Kairi Sane versus Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. Women's Tag Team TLC match for the tag team titles. I'm going with Asuka and Kairi Sane. Becky Lynch and Charlotte really have no business tagging together. It's kind of a damn shame this is what they have for these two. these two, and I know they want to try and keep us away from Charlotte versus Becky, which we've had for the last, I don't know, last year we had over and over and over again. I think it's time we get away from that. I would love this to lead to Asuka versus Becky Lynch, which Becky Lynch has hinted at she wants to get that receipt. But there's honestly no reason for Kairi Sane and Asuka to drop the tag team titles to Becky Lynch and Charlotte. So I'm going with the tag team champions. Aleister Black versus Buddy Murphy. This one is a toss-up because honestly, neither one of these guys should really be losing. But in the end, I think it's going to be Aleister Black who's going to be winning this match. The New Day versus the Revival for the Smackdown Tag Team Championships. This is only there's only 3 title matches on this show, and both tag team titles are 2 of them. The tag team championships are the only titles on the line on this night. But I'm going with the New Day because I really don't see a reason why they would want to give the Revival with tag team titles, especially when they haven't re-signed with the company and WWE is going to just, waste them away until they either re-sign or they say, you know what, peace, we're out of here. Well, it'll probably be the main event, Roman Reigns versus Baron Corbin TLC match, which Bully Ray has pointed out that a TLC match should always be for something. It shouldn't just be a throwaway match for a feud ender, which I totally agree. Honestly, the crown and scepter should be on the line. If Roman Reigns versus King Corbin with the crown and scepter hanging above the ring, if Roman Reigns wins the match, the crown and scepter go away. If King Corbin wins the match, then Roman Reigns can't challenge for the WWE the Universal Championship for a year. And then Bray Wyatt versus The Miz. Oh wait, hold on. I'm going with, of course, Roman Reigns in the TLC match. Who else would win that match? I mean, come on. You're not gonna have Roman lose a big match on a pay-per-view to a guy like Baron Corbin. And then The Miz versus Bray Wyatt. This is a non-title match. I'm going with Bray Wyatt because he does not need to lose. So, yes, Bray Wyatt versus The Miz is not going to be the next thing is going to be Daniel Bryan. What is the look of Daniel Bryan? How is he going to come back? I used to have a family video that they should flash up that was showing Daniel Bryan as part of the Wyatt family with, of course, they recently departed, and we'll talk about that tomorrow, Luke Harper and Eric Rowan as well. So let's see what happens with that. But I'm going to say Bray Wyatt wins because, quite honestly, there is no reason for The Miz to be winning this match. So, review, the Viking Raiders win their match. Rusev over Bobby Lashley. The tag team champions over Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. Aleister Black over Buddy Murphy, which could be the match of the night. Bray Wyatt over The Miz. The New Day over The Revival. And Roman over Baron Corbin. But that is your TLC predictions as well as your SmackDown unscripted review. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Twitter at The France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/The France Club. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for unscripted.